Hello class, in today's lesson we are going to discuss and introduce the concept of inheritance in Java. This is a great tool that we use all over the place in object-oriented programming, not just in Java, and it's a really useful tool when dealing with complex systems of objects. Let's take a look at inheritance. So let's say, for example, that we are building a program for, let's say, a car company. Maybe it's a car company that sells used cars, or it sells different kinds of vehicles. We're creating a program that works with vehicles. That's really what we're dealing with. And it could be all types of vehicles. And we create ourselves an object and a class called vehicle. Now, this vehicle class has some attributes and has kind of the generic things that we want all vehicles to have. It could keep track of things like how many passengers it has, what kind of engine it has, all the different things that we know a vehicle should have. But then we know that we don't just want vehicles, we want to be able to store and keep track of things like, say, a car. And this has some fields, right, and methods that these vehicles can do. We can give it a speed that it drives at and a direction and all kinds of things. And a car, well, a car does a lot of those same things that a vehicle does. And it seems like kind of a waste to write all of those same things again. And remember, we had that tool that we used a few lessons ago called overloading that allowed us to write the same thing, but that doesn't seem to apply in this case. But we can use our new friend inheritance. So inheritance means that the car can now get all of the fields and methods of the vehicle. So it gets all those same fields and methods, and it can add more fields and methods. So the car gets everything the vehicle has. So now I don't have to rewrite all of that wonderful coding that I did for my vehicle. I don't have to write any of that again for my car. And I can even go a step further. I can create a sports car that by its nature will get everything that a car has, which will also already have everything that a vehicle has. So I can add even more information and have all of the same fields and methods that were already written and utilized in our car and our vehicle classes in inheritance. This is going to become super useful for us and is a fantastic, wonderful tool that we use all the time. So how do we do this? Well, we think about the header of our classes. And remember that we have our basic header where we say public class, and then we just open, and we give the name of the class, and we open up our curly braces. Now we're going to add in a new keyword. And it only takes 2 words to do this wonderful relationship to get all those fields and methods. All that we have to do is write this. So let's say we're in the car class. We've already written vehicle. We're in the car class. We can simply say public class with a lowercase c public class car with a capital C, and our new keyword extends. And then we write the name of the class that it's going to extend, vehicle. And then we open our curly brace and proceed as usual. And now we don't have to write anything else. Car automatically gets all of the fields and methods that vehicle has. Same thing with our sports car. We can simply write public class sports car extends car. And by very nature, because car also extends vehicle, sports car will get everything that vehicle has. And we can continue this relationship on forever. However, some caveats. So extends is our new keyword that we're going to use at our class header. A car can only inherit, or an object can only inherit from one other object. Objects can only inherit from one other object. This is really cool. So we can inherit from those other objects, but we can have a chain that goes back. So for example, if I want to use a method on sports car that sports car hasn't written, Java will automatically look back up the chain of inheritance to find a method within the parent classes. So these are called children at the bottom, and as we move up, those are parent classes. So we have a parent-child relationship. This is what we call it. Child relationship. The child gets everything that the parent has. The parent does not get what the child has. If, and I'll add this into the notes here, if a child class does not have a method, then Java will have a method or field. Java will look to the parent for that information. It will not look to the child. So if I have vehicle and I try to call a method from the car class, Java will not be able to run it. Only a car can run things from vehicles. Vehicles cannot run things from cars. Okay, so last thing we need to talk about is our keyword super. Super acts like, our super keyword acts like this keyword, but it references the parent class. So anywhere where we were able to use the this keyword, we can also use the super keyword to access the parent class. Where this comes in most handy is when we discuss constructors. So the super constructor can be called on the parent class but it must be the first line. Must be the first line in a constructor. Or first statement in a constructor. We'll take a look at this in just a second. Okay, so I highly recommend that you look at the repl.it link down below in the description to follow along in this code, and you can run these things to see what it looks like. So here I have written a vehicle, car, and sports car class. We can see the vehicle class here, very simple class that has an integer that stores the number of maximum passengers, a couple of constructors overloaded, and then I have a simple get passengers method here that will come into play a little bit later, and our toString method as well that returns the number of passengers. So this is our basic vehicle class. Super simple, just to illustrate our point. Now the car class here extends our vehicle. This is where we get into inheritance. So now the car has everything the vehicle has. Everything a vehicle has, including its fields and methods. So now my car has a couple of constructors, including this constructor right here, the super. This is calling the vehicle. This is the vehicle constructor. So this is the vehicle constructor, and remember, it has to be the first line of code. So it's calling our vehicle constructor, it's creating a vehicle, and then it's adding on top of it, adds the car stuff. Right? Remember, fields is stuff, methods is thing, doing things. So we're adding in the car stuff here, and then we're adding in new car methods. But we also have that get passengers method from vehicle. Okay, so this is our sports car class, and our sports car class extends car. So now this has everything that a car has, which also has everything that a vehicle has, and we're able to call again. This is now calling which one? Think about it for a second before I write it. Which super is this calling? Well, it's calling the direct parent. So this is calling the car constructor. This is the car constructor. And the car constructor is going to call also the vehicle constructor. Wonderful. And then we're going to add in our sports car stuff, our sports car methods. And you'll notice we're going to talk about this in our next lesson. Every single one of our classes has the same toString method. It's a beautiful thing. You might remember that from overloading. So what we're able to do here is my sports car, I've created a sports car here. I can do this. So sports car only has one method. Only one method here. But because it inherits from car and vehicle, which car has two more methods, get make, get model, and get vehicle has get max passengers, I can in fact, move all this together. Ooh, it does stay nice together. So I can in fact call on my sports car class, I can call, let's say, a get make. So I can do this. This is really fun. So I can say sports car, let's say somewhere else in my code, sports car S equals new sports car. And we do have a default constructor, so we can do that. Now with my sports car, let me make that a little bit more clear here. I can now call on S, my sports car here, I can call anything from the vehicle or the car class because it inherits from car. So I can say S.get max passengers. Even though, what's that, needs parentheses, even though I have not created that method in the sports car class. I could call get model, get make. All of those wonderful things are available to me because of inheritance. This is going to create some great relationships that we're going to explore in the future and give us some freedom in our programming that we haven't had before. All right, I will see you in the next lesson.